So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Manuel and Ahmad Figure Things Out. Sorry, Imposing Presence and Ahmad Figure Things Out. So, tonight it's another one of our exciting episodes, and we will be tackling mystery. Manuel, I mean. Well, we had a short discussion whether we'll discuss manual in one of the episodes, but we thought that we'd keep it humble tonight and discuss mystery instead. So,
He's pretending that there's a difference.
he's pretending that there's a difference for the sake of the audience, so that your imposing highness does not get too imposing. Cool, cool. Mystery. Mystery is a topic that keeps popping up for me, actually. It's been something that actually keeps me alive from time to time. So if I think of the time when I separated from my ex wife, the mystery of what would happen next in my life, the unknown, it sort of empowered me to a certain extent because it's right now like you're entering into a place, you're going to live as someone that you never thought you could be. There's someone you're going to become, and you can't imagine who you're going to become. It's something completely new, something completely different. So it was a positive way, positive outlook of looking at things. But it went way back because I've always loved mystery movies. I've always loved unsolved mysteries, these made up stuff they put online of maybe they're not made up, even like these historical anomalies that nobody can solve yet. Stonehenge, sunken cities under the sea, and stuff like that. But I mean, I wouldn't know. Looking back, I don't know if I'd call them mysteries now, but I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna get to what I mean by mystery. One thing that I had a phase where I was obsessed with horror shorts. I was obsessed with horror shorts because, well, the good ones, what they would do was that they would take something about life which you take for granted and they would twist it a little bit. So you have a chair, something which you're absolutely used to, and the whole horror movie is about a fucking chair. And it's like, okay, how can you make a chair? What's so terrifying about this chair? Why is there this ominous music when this chair is around? So the mystery here is not in what the chair is. There's two aspects to the mystery. First of all, the person who is taking advantage of the mystery is giving you the story piece by piece. They're giving you information and they're withholding information. And this is starting to give you the sense, it's more waking you up to the sense that there's an order of intelligibility, there's a world, there's an agency that is beyond you, not in your control, and cannot be predicted by you. And that is what I'm going to say is what mystery is. It's when you get that sense that there is a wholeness, an agency, an order of intelligibility that is beyond you, and you want something from it. It's like you want something from it, but you can't get that thing from it because it is not up to you whether or not the information is given to you. And that is exactly what happened, for me at least, what happens in horror movies. It's what happens in everything that's one could call mysterious. What happens in conversations, even. If I am telling you my story step by step, if I'm telling you an interesting story step by step, this is when the mystery arises. Because you want information from me, but it is up to me to withhold it. And that gets you to the state of awakeness. And that is what I call mystery.
So, you took it away that I wouldn't definitely not have gone.
Mm-hmm.
The wanting, maybe desiring is even better there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I guess I'll let you put more flesh on those bones. Like what is this desire? Like why like do you think it's necessary, or is that just the way that you got into it? Like what's going on there?
There's not necessarily a desire. I'm the one who desires it. It's in my build up to desire mystery. Some people don't desire that at all. Some people are annoyed by it. It is just the realization that it's not up to you whether or not, or what comes out of there, whether or not something comes out of there, and what comes out of there. So now there's this image of a well coming to mind. It's a well that brings up gifts or water or maybe danger.
Hmm.
And the well sort of has a mind of its own. There's an order of intelligibility there. There's a will, there's an order, but you can't figure it out. And it's giving itself to you step by step and at its own pace. So the well itself is not the mist. Well, let's just say this is where a mystery arises, when there is this order of intelligibility that's beyond you, and it is not up to you how you receive, what you receive, and whether or not you receive from it.
Yeah, but like I also that get the sense that it is dependent on the relationship that you take towards that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right,
Absolutely.
because like as a child you could consider your parents a mystery,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But also you cannot do that, right? So um there and maybe that's why you bring in desire, right? Because the desire is the thing that binds you or binds your attention to to the to the mystery.
I would say yes, definitely. Definitely, desire is what binds. I want to say agape is the best way to bind yourself to the mystery, because that's also been my experience. That the moments, so in the phase where I was addicted to horror movies, I got to a point where I got bored of them. There's like one horror short after the other, and it's like, okay, this is getting boring. Nothing's happening there. But the point when it would get back, where when I would decide, it's like, okay, you're bored, it's fine. Just accept the boredom. Just sit here. Accept the things the way they are. And then it would come back. Then it would come back because whatever I would give my attention to unconditionally becomes itself that order of intelligibility that is beyond me, and I'm not in control of what it gives me, but I have this orientation towards it where I'm willing to respect its agency. I'm willing to respect that it is beyond me. And that is when the mystery is tasted fully. Well, not fully, but that's when the mystery is tasted. It's like where you're at the shores of the mystery.
Hmm. So okay, maybe like I need more clarification. Like,
Mhm.
is this mystery actually present in the experience, or is that just your way of talking about it?
Can you restate the question?
So what you were describing, right,
Mm,
is like I'm relating to the unknown constantly. Like everybody is effectively, right? Or
absolutely, yeah.
you could say we're relating to God or whatever
Hmm.
intermediaries you want to put there. But I don't experience mystery. Like mystery is actually for me connected to sort of an awe and a state of confusion and the inability to hold myself.
Okay. Yeah, I understand what you mean. Inability to hold yourself. Tell me more
Right,
about
because
that.
because you're relating to something, right, which is bigger and
Hmm.
too big, right?
Okay,
And
okay.
that's the awe aspect, right? Like
Yep,
so now
absolutely.
you're just like under this thing,
Right, right.
right? But you
That's okay.
there's multiple responses, right? Like
Yes,
you can look
yes, yes.
away, but you can also say no, I need to know or whatever, right? And and that needing to know without proper ability leads to horror, right? So I'm bringing back my dragons of the apocalypse, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like sometimes there's this idea and you just go at it and it's like you get overwhelmed by it. It's like no, like this is not the place to be, right?
Hmm.
But like I still don't frame it as a mystery, right? And then you also can have the opposite, right? Like, so it's not a horror thing, it's awesome, right? Like it's holy, right? Like it's the cup that runneth over, like it just
Mhm.
keeps, it overflows you, right? But in the overflowing you don't have agency either.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So like, I don't know, like in some sense I see the mystery in like flirting. Right, like in the flirting where there's a showing of oneself and then
Mhm.
the withdrawing,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And there's what, that's what maybe why I connected it to desire, right? So there's a pool there,
Mhm.
um with the promise of attainability.
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
there we go.
Yes. Yes. That.
Okay,
Yeah. So,
yeah.
like this. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I even mentioned that literally. This giving and withdrawing at the same time is exactly the aspect of mystery that I was getting at. Like maybe the examples I used were extremely personal. Have you played the game Half Life before?
Yes.
You know the G Man,
No.
the guy in the blue suit.
uh I like, I didn't play for story, I have to admit.
Okay, never mind. Then it won't work. Then it's not gonna work. Long story short, there's a guy in a blue suit. Spoiler alert for those who haven't played the game. There's a guy in a blue suit who always appears in the facility wherever you go, and he's always out of reach. So you see
Oh yeah,
him,
yeah, yeah.
he turns away, you follow him. It's like he disappeared, but there's no door there. He just disappeared into thin air. And then at the very, very, very end of the game, he shows up and he offers you a job. Like when everything's blowing up. And like he turns out to be some interdimensional bureaucrat and stuff like that. It's like every time you meet this guy, you're just given more questions than you're given answers. You're given some answers, but you're
Mhm.
given then more questions. So there's
Mhm.
the giving and the withdrawing, the giving and the withdrawing. There's an answer, but there's more questions. There's an answer, but there's more questions. So this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying mystery, but you kind of shone the light on a kind of a bigger aspect of it. Because I was always insisting that the G-Man himself is not the mystery. The mystery is more the game or the developers of the game. Because the developers are demonstrating to you that I can hold you in the state of wanting where you want information from me and I can withdraw it from you. And
Mhm.
I have control over when I give this information to you.
Mhm.
Same is happening with flirting. Same is happening in not in horror movies. Well, yeah, but the point is that how do I put this? There's something I'm getting at, but because eventually something like flirting can be exhausted. It's gonna culminate in a relationship. It's not inexhaustible.
Mm.
Right. It can be made inexhaustible, but not without the mystery. And there it is. That the mystery itself is almost transcending the action. It's almost transcending whatever is being made mysterious. So if the woman is making herself mysterious with the flirting, I mean that can eventually run out. And you can't always be in a state of mystery. Sometimes you have to be in other states. But I mean, there's a certain skill to keeping that mystery. There's a certain skill to this withholding and withdrawing, withholding and withdrawing. And the point is, it's
Well,
not
I would call that tension, but yeah.
tension, yeah. But that tension is because that which is held in tension is not that which is mysterious. It's that which is doing the holding that's mysterious. Does that make sense? I'm still trying to grasp at what I'm trying
Well,
to
no,
say.
no, like
Yeah.
what you're saying there is a meta move, right? It's like I don't
I
like
am
that.
kind of doing a meta move. Yeah, I am doing,
Like
but not
I don't think that's
not.
you
It's
shouldn't
not
do that.
unjustified. I'll get to it later. I need to get to it later. I
Okay,
think
but
I need some more time to
to
digest this
go
idea.
back to the meta move, right? Like all the things and all the relationships that you're describing are from a preset container.
What do you mean preset container?
Well, the game,
Yes,
right?
yes, absolutely.
The flirting is also in a
Yes,
preset container.
yes, yes.
So um so yeah, like I in the like now that's where the meta move comes in, right? Because like now I feel like you're trying to look at the container, right? And place the mystery in that which contains, right? Uh, and and well, you can say, well, like yeah, that's the divine feminine, and that's the ultimate
Mm.
mystery, which is like okay, fair checkmate, right? But it's like, um, yeah, I don't know, like I like it doesn't sit well with me. So first of all, I have to confess that whenever there's a movie that withholds information and then says, "Oh, look at this! Like this information, and now everything changes," I say, "Fuck you!"
Okay,
Right? It's like you cheated me.
okay,
Like I feel cheated, right?
okay.
Because it's an intentional misleading, which is different than teasing.
Then
Teasing
what?
is not intentional
Yeah,
teasing.
absolutely, absolutely. It's synthesized. It's synthetic.
It yeah, yes, but it's yeah, but it's also setting you in a false frame intentionally.
Okay, let me think about this for a second. So, would the video is a video game setting you in a false frame?
Well, it doesn't have to. It can, but
Yeah, yeah.
that would make it a bad video, right? Like effectively.
Okay, okay, okay. So now I'm getting two distinctions here. I'm getting two distinctions. There's those who synthesize a false frame to force a mystery, and there are those who give you a frame that you know and break it on purpose, and that's a more genuine mystery. For example, uh, I'll give you an example of a story I have in mind. Let's say, I mean, you go to a library, like it's an underground library. You go downstairs and you want to study, and you say, like, you tell your friends, bye, I need to go down and study. You fall asleep, you wake up 2 hours later, and you go upstairs, and there's nobody there. Everybody in the world disappeared. That plays with a very good, with a frame that you take for granted, with a frame that's already set up in the world. The framing, the expectation that there are people there, the framing that I live in a world with other people. And
Hmm.
then it removes it completely.
Yeah, so it's making one pattern and then it exchanges the way it manifests.
Yes, yes. It surprises you by taking, yeah, one pattern which you take for granted. This is extremely important. Like it plays on the framing which you take for granted. That for me is what good mystery books do, or what good horror books do, is that they are taking something that is invisible to you because you take it so much for granted that you can't don't even think of it going away, and they twist it a little bit. And I'm what the way I'm understanding, the way I understood you is that this is what you would call a genuine mystery, whereas the other kind of mystery you're talking about is more like the magician who's trying to set you up for a trick, and then, oh, look at that, something else. Because
Hmm.
that's not playing with mystery anymore. That's just tricking.
Right. So yeah, like it is interesting, right? Because like in some sense, uh, a creator, right? Like there's a
Mhm,
reason why they use that word.
mhm.
They're taking the God perspective, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Pretty much so.
That's why they're called
Exactly.
creators. Why and why it's horrifying. But uh, that's a good insight.
And that was my point. The creator. is where the skill of setting up the mystery resides. Because, on the one sense, the creator, quote unquote, can be the trickster who just creates false frames and breaks them in front of your eyes, which is child's play. But the creator can also play on something you already take for granted and then surprise you with it.
Right,
And
but okay, so now where's the distinction, right? Because like my intuition is that the distinction lies in how the story unfolds and resolves.
Mhm.
So in some sense, the breaking is a transgression that needs to be redeemed and
Yes,
is
yes,
not inherently good or yeah, whatever. So
yes, that's a good point. Okay, okay, okay. That's a very, very interesting point. Where the redemption aspect is something actually that kind of drives horror movies forward. Like, how is the order of intelligibility going to be set back together again in a way that this makes sense now?
mhm.
Hmm.
Right, and that redemption, like you get robbed of it if it's just like, well, the guy was a Nazi all the time and you didn't just didn't know, right? Like like there's there's no there's no way of having a relationship to that.
There's no insight. I haven't
Right,
learned to see the world in a new way by this.
right,
I haven't learned how I'm seeing the world wrong because of this. Like,
right.
going back to the story of the guy who wakes up and finds nobody there, like, for me, one insight is like, hmm, this is hard to. There should be something like Lectio Divina, where you start wondering what does this demand from me? What is this demanding from me? Is this what you're getting at?
What is this demand of me? Can you say more?
I need to think of a good example when this happened to me. Give me a second. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Remember our talk on beauty?
Maybe.
I mentioned the girl. There's this girl.
Hmm.
After my breakup with my ex-wife, I was heartbroken. This girl shows up out of nowhere. She smiles and then she disappears. Never seen again. There's your tension. But what was happening there? The transgression, there is two transgressions. Transgression number one, the marriage you expected yourself to be in, it's no longer going to be there. Absurdity. My life is meaningless. Transgression number two, wait, I'm actually interested in somebody else. I'm actually interested in being a man for somebody else. And that person withdrew. And by withdrawing, it literally drew me with her. So I was being present in the world, waiting for this girl to pop up again, working on myself, imagining what would the world be like if this girl were there. And that was the demand that was brought up by this mystery. It's like, there is something for you out there which you desire. Could be the girl, could be God, could be something else. But that girl who smiled at you was like somebody dipping themselves through the water. It's like the hand of Christ, often portrayed, that dips it through the water and then reels you out.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
something like that. Something like
yeah.
that.
Like what I have now, because I've been remembering my breakup, or
Hmm.
and it's like there's something that lives on inside of you
Hmm.
that hasn't um, yeah, that's still in the anticipation that was at one time. And
Yes, yes, exactly. Anticipation is the really good word. Is a really good word for it. Yes, exactly. And I think this is why beauty has to do with it, because, in my opinion, beauty meets you where you are. So it meets you where the anticipation still lives within you. It also breaks your frame, also breaks your heart in a certain way. But the fact is that it draws you with it, because I'm not going to go on and start getting God into this, but you know what I mean.
No, I don't know if I do know.
I'm not going to complicate it by getting into God. Maybe later. Maybe
But
later.
yeah, to
Yeah.
go back to
Mhm.
mystery.
Yeah.
So you brought her in, and then there was two things that happened. One is
The absurdity of the divorce,
right
and then the anticipation of a new relationship, the anticipation of a
of
new
a new.
person.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
abstracted it from her.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Something like that. Not just a new relationship, but also a new life, a new me, where I'm exploring someone I kind of left behind a long time ago, because I was in a foreign country. I was living alone now. I had more options than I had before. It's like I don't know who this person is and what he's gonna be like.
So how is this connecting to mystery?
This is the mystery. This this anticipation that is being brought to life. It's like, what is going to happen to me now? What kind of person am I going to be? It's like a kind of a tadpole becoming a frog without knowing what a frog is.
Hmm.
You transforming into somebody, being in the process of transformation, anticipating something you don't know, and getting pieces of it along the way. There's the mystery in that, and the transformative aspect is that if you have the right orientation. Now I'm thinking there's more cases than that, but I'll go on with this example. If you're in the right orientation of desire,
Hmm.
then you're going to be transforming along the way. You're going to be getting better at shit. You're going to be working on yourself in anticipation of what is to come, of the new you.
Yes.
And you're
Okay.
not going to be doing it with much expectation, because it's a mystery and you don't know what's coming for you. You're just preparing yourself to receive something. You just know that in order to receive, I need to be ready to give, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to relate this, right? So,
Mm.
um, like the thing that you're describing, I would use completely different words on,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm fairly certain that that is because you're taking a feminine perspective and I'm taking a masculine perspective,
Okay.
right? Because I would use words as conviction and right.
Faith.
Well, yeah, well, yeah. Like I would say like you're hoping, right, instead of anticipating.
Yeah. No, I would agree with you. In this case, there was more hope than there was anticipation. In that case, that's why I was thinking of the two conditions right now.
Right, and
Mhm.
so like if you have a well, like okay, like no, but I think the anticipation and desire and they're all feminine words, right? And like when you
Mhm.
say receiving, right? Like receiving is also also feminine, right? But if you say conviction and bunch of things, that's seeking things out, right? Like that's being a hunter,
Yeah.
right? It's like okay, like I'm gonna go make a bow, right?
Yeah.
Because I need the
Yeah.
bow to hunt, and like I don't know what the hunt is gonna be like,
Mhm.
right? But the hunt is not a mystery, right? It's like a puzzle, like it's like a sphinx.
No, I think there's a mystery to the hunt.
But you can approach it that way,
Okay.
but it doesn't have to. Like it it depends on your attitude, right?
Yeah, sure.
Like if you're in the masculine mode, right? You're just like I'm just gonna do this, right? Like
Ah,
let's make it
okay.
happen.
Mm. Oh, yes, yes, yes. And what you're seeing in the example I'm giving is that. Let's do this.
No, no, no. I'm seeing
No,
the
you're seeing
opposite.
the other way. Okay, so when you're putting yourself in my shoes, you're showing that's actually big. That's actually pretty. It's actually like a slap in the face for me. You know why? You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Because looking back, the way I was living this experience was, I hope she comes so that something happens. I was never thinking actively. I was never thinking I'm the one who's going to seek her out. I was never thinking I'm the one who's going to make the first move. I was just hoping things would happen for me.
Right.
And
Which
that's,
is what the woman
yeah.
should do.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I was adopting the passive feminine perspective. But now, wow, 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 that's.
And like I think it's appropriate, right? Because if you're in the
Sure,
feminine perspective,
sure.
right, like it's like, okay, like now this masculine thing is coming over me, right? And it's gonna drop its seed in me. And like things is just gonna happen to me. Like I'm just gonna
Yes,
like be smacked around by the world, and I'm gonna end up with a
exactly.
child. Like,
That's
well, like
that's why it ended up so shitty in the end. Exactly. I mean, in my defense, I did make the move, but still, the perspective I was adopting is like, please make this happen. Please make this happen.
right.
So
And who's gonna make it happen, right? If nobody's making it happen.
yeah,
Like
yeah, 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 yeah. That's
like
a
we've been talking a lot about this actually over the last weeks.
so it's fresh in your head.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just now I'm realizing how this is with many crushes I have. Like whenever I find someone attractive and she works in the same place, this is the perspective I adopt. I hope something
Right,
happens. I hope something happens. It is never, rarely, if ever, that I make something happen, that I approach. It's always hoping that somehow we'd end up in the same room or somehow we'd, and that was very frustrating. But at the same time, somehow I like it, like this anticipation thing.
right. So like I actually want to explore this because like maybe you can be in the feminine perspective for me because I have a bunch of questions on the feminine perspective.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Well, because my
Yeah.
frustration is
Mm.
like there's a surrender in the feminine perspective, right? Because like if if the thing happens, right, and you don't let it happen, like you're locked out, right? Like and and it, right, like and on the other hand, right, like if you let it happen, right, like now the mystery is all over you, right? And and then the question is, well, do I really want it, right? Like is and so um I get the sense with women is that they're not willing to surrender, right? Like they're not willing to say not like this is what I want and like I want it to happen. They're like, no, I want it to happen as if it's in my fantasy,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Which is never the
Mm-hmm.
way that it's going to happen,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And and
Can you
and
give a
so
concrete example of that?
um how do I give an example of that?
Or maybe I can give an example of that.
Okay.
So, so one of the women I was attracted to once, we were very, very close to each other. We practically loved each other, but in her head, the guy had to be emotionless. The guy had to be cold and calculating, and the guy had to be super smart, and so on and so on and so on and so on. There were these quote unquote unrealistic expectations, or not even unrealistic. They were realistic expectations, but there were these wants, like I want, no, 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 not wants, these shoulds. My
Mm.
partner should be this way. This is how my partner should be. And I was seeing this lack of surrender. It's like there was a fear that if I settle for this, I will never have this. Like there's a bit of this modal confusion there as well. Would you say this is what you're describing?
Yes.
Mm.
Right. And right. And so this lack of surrender, right, to go back to the mystery thing,
Mm.
right? If you're like, the mysteries should give me these answers, you can't get the answers.
Mm.
Right? Because
Mm.
you have a preset frame, and
Yeah. Yeah.
so like, this was one of the things that I was wanted to intercede with earlier. Is like, okay, because if like the mystery is a thing that you co-manifest,
Yeah.
right? Like
You call
it
to
does
manifest.
no co-manifest.
What do you mean
Like
by that?
you do it in participation.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Co-manifest. Yes. Yes. Sure. Sure. Co-manifest. Yeah.
Yeah. And so if you have a preconception, right?
Mm.
Like, you're gonna pervert the manifestation.
Yeah. 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 Totally relate to what you're saying. So basically, I'm gonna give you an example of something that's happening right now with me, and just to see if I understand you correctly. So if I relax my list for what I want in a woman, I know I will find her. I know there's no doubt that it's gonna happen. But but how do I put this? No. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I need to think
Yeah,
about something
I'm not
stupid.
so sure
Yeah.
about that one, but okay. Like,
Hmm.
like, I don't think relaxing your list is necessarily the thing that will make things happen, right? Like, in order to have a her, you need to have a list because you're the man. Like,
It's not gonna make things happen. That's not what I mean. I'm not saying let go of my list. I'm saying relax my list. Saying that just focus on a few bare essentials. Then all you need to do is search. Search, like it's a trial and error until it hits the spot. This is what I mean. The believe you already have it thing? You just need to trust that it's yours and go through with it until it manifests right in front of you.
I think you're still in a feminine perspective. Like, this is really
No,
funny.
no, 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 no. This is absolutely not in the feminine perspective
Okay,
because
like,
because you are seeking, you are
yeah,
going out.
women seek, women choose. Like,
No, but you're also flirting. You're also approaching.
women also do that.
Then how is it the feminine perspective?
Like, I don't think men are supposed to flirt. Like, for me,
Okay.
I think that's the feminine inviting.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. No. I mean, you're approaching. You're making a move. You're talking to people. You're
Hmm.
seeking out. You're going out in the world. That's the
Yeah,
masculine part. No,
yeah, but okay, like,
you're hunting.
uh,
Let's make this happen.
yeah, yeah, but what are you hunting? Like, that's the question.
This is very hard for me to describe because this is something that happens when I'm playing music. It's like you have a sense of what you're hunting for, but you don't know what it is. But after some trial and error, it's like, there it is, and then you go ahead for it. You know?
Well, I know that that can happen. Like, the
Yeah.
question is whether that should happen. Like, I agree that that's a
Mm,
configuration of the world that can manifest. Like, yes.
mm. But then you're taking both the masculine and the feminine perspective, because you're both giving and receiving.
Who, me?
The person doing that, the person approaching the situation like that,
Yeah, yeah.
is
You
taking up.
always you always need to oscillate between the
Yeah.
two. Yes, like, I agree,
And
but
so I don't get what you're asking. What is the question here? What is the
well,
problem I have?
I'm asking an open question, which are the
Okay.
most horrible questions, right?
No,
It's like, okay,
but
like you're going into the world and you're hunting, and I'm like, okay, like, that's not necessarily wrong unless you're hunting for the wrong thing. Like, It's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
So it's like, yeah, fine, hunting Jack, but like hunting is like like it's such a big category. We're doing the language of creation book club, and
Mm,
like it was in Genesis, I don't know, like really low numbers. There was like someone who was called a hunter, right? And
mm,
like what is a hunter? Like he's someone who captures wild animals, right? Like so there's a and that's a really big category, right? Like they're using it as a fundamental category, hunting.
mm.
Well, not
Yeah.
primary, but like secondary or tertiary category,
Mm.
right? And so like yes, hunting happens on many levels, right? Because that's a masculine activity, right? Like it's taking the sharp, right, and it's putting it into the world, and then it's bringing in the flesh, right? Like it's
Mhm.
bringing in that thing that you can offer up to God. But
Mm.
so like yes, that is the right masculine action, right, or part of the set of right masculine actions.
Mhm.
But that can also be misplaced, right?
No, of course it can misplace.
Like it can
Anything
be
can be misplaced.
targeted towards humans, right? Like if you start hunting humans, then that's an inappropriate prey, right?
Yeah.
It's like if you that's what happens in war in some sense, right? And like
Yeah.
anyway, like
Yeah. I mean,
if you start hunting for one night stands, like that's also an inappropriate way to hunt. Like
exactly.
if
That was what I was saying. Relaxing my standards, because setting high standards would mean that the girl is more likely fit for a one night stand, because then
oh, is that so? Okay.
no, not that, more like, because the reason why I'm relaxing my standard is that so I can make place for the more meaningful standards like character and stuff like that.
Right. Well,
But
that's what I was aiming at. With what are
yeah,
you hunting for?
exactly. Like the standards you set, of course, will determine what you hunt for. If you're setting physical standards, then you're hunting for a one night stand. If you're setting a nice combination of physical and character standards, then you're hunting for something more meaningful than that. And that's
Yeah, but like I know my standard, right? Like what I'm hunting for, because like I figured it out. Like
mhm,
and well, it's not even a standard. Like because it's a prerequisite.
prerequisite. Okay.
Because it's like without this, like whatever's going to happen isn't going to be godly,
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
right? So like that,
Yeah.
and this has to do right with the surrender, right?
Yeah.
Like it only if you can properly surrender, you can properly be in a relationship. Because like if you can't surrender, like you're gonna be an individual, and like you're just gonna bunk heads.
Mm-hmm.
And so like that's the quality. And like how do you hunt for that? And in like this is where you get into the crazy situation, right? Like 'cause the women choose, right? Like they decide whether they like you or not. Like you don't
Mm-hmm.
have anything to do with it. Like
Mm-hmm.
like and in the liking you, there should be the surrendering, right? Because like if
Mm-hmm.
they're liking you and they're not willing to surrender, what is left but to be used by them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I had this discussion with a friend the other day. Mm-hmm.
And it's like that's why women choose. Like it's like
Mm.
they and while you like that game is flipped, right? Like we're in clown's world now, right? Like
Yeah.
fair enough, right? But
Okay.
that's like if you flip that game, you end up with one night stands. Like that's what it is, right? Like if
Mm-hmm.
the man chooses, it's a one night stand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like that's what the man is aiming for in some fundamental sense if he's choosing.
Yeah. No. Okay. Okay. Now I understand. It's like now I know what you mean.
Like any woman who lets herself be chosen by a man, it's like
Hmm.
that's corrupt, right?
Tell me more of what that's like. What is it like to be chosen by a man? What happens? What happens when you are
How would
when a
I know?
woman?
Like, oh my god.
No, no. What's happening when a woman is being chosen by a
Manuel,
man?
do your empathy practice. Like, no, like I banned empathy. It's like, so what happens if a woman gets chosen by a man? Well, that's rape, right? Like that's abduction. Like that's
Because it seems like when you're saying chosen, it's a very charged word for you. Because when I say chosen, I say, hey, look, I choose this girl. I'm gonna go talk to her and see if something develops.
yeah.
But when
Then she
you're saying
chooses you
chosen,
still,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like,
I agree. I agree. So choosing for a man is different for choosing for a woman. That's how I'm speaking.
well,
And
like
when you're,
let me just say it this way, right? Like
Mhm.
whenever a woman surrenders, she chooses because she
Yes,
surrenders,
yes, I agree with
right?
that.
Like
Yes,
like
fully
you
agree.
can't impose surrender, right?
Fully agree. Yeah.
Okay. So when that surrender is initiated by the masculine, right? The best answer to explain that would be enchantment.
And then you get the nice guy syndrome.
Say more.
That's when you get the nice guy. When the man chooses to surrender to the woman.
No, it's not the man. No, like the man initiating, right? Like make like I make you want me,
Ah, okay. Yeah.
right? That's probably not Mr. Nice Guy. It's actually the tough guy, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
the bad boy,
Yeah.
right? So what does the bad boy do? He goes to the woman, he casts a spell on her,
Yeah.
right? Like he's like, "Ooh, look at me, I'm confident, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I can protect you from your father. You want to rebel against your father? Come with me, right?" And so like then she's caught up in a spell,
Mm.
right? And because she's caught up in a spell, or you could say, right, like it's an identification against her dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever, right? Like that is not her surrendering.
I see. I see. It's manipulation in this case.
Yeah, but it's manipulation, but it can also be willful on the side of the woman. Like I'm not gonna make any judgments on where the minds are, right? But it's
Okay.
not a surrender, right? Like it's not
Okay.
there. Like I want to marry you,
Mm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
like even if it's I want to marry you and it's motivated from that angle, then like it will be a bad marriage.
It will be a bad marriage. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. She's not surrendering to the guy anyway.
Right? Or it's like a perverted surrendering.
It's a perverted. It's a surrender to something other than the guy. Like it's a surrender to what the guy stands for or something like that.
Yes,
To her
yes,
issues.
exactly. She's relating to a
Mhm.
projection,
Yeah, she's
right?
relating to a projection. Exactly. Yeah, she's relating to a
Exactly.
projection.
That's
Yeah.
that's the way to describe.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if it's pretty logical, right? I mean, man, woman, when you have the relationship of husband to wife, it's immediately surrender of the woman, and the man is basically the authority and the leader in the relationship. That's when you're saying husband, you're saying wife. When you're automatically saying these things. They all come together.
Right, and you, you
Yeah.
you you can you can have alternate versions of them, right?
Mm.
But then like that's perversions, right? Like and
Hmm.
and they might be somewhat functional, right? Like I don't want to shit on people's life because like there's
Mm.
plenty of perverted marriages, right? And
Hmm.
but but that's not the ideal, right? And it's like what are you aiming for, right? Like you should aim. What are you hunting for? Right? You should hunt for the ideal. You shouldn't.
Now I'm understanding what you're talking about. Now I'm understanding because looking at how I was hunting for a woman a long time ago, I was hunting for someone who would see me as the most important person in the world. I was not hunting for a wife. I was hunting for a validating figure in my life. Now it's a different thing because I was thinking it to myself. What is the stance I need to adopt? So let me rewind a little bit. I have a problem that when I try to convince myself that I am capable of finding a woman, my mind freaks out, just freaks out. And it basically freaks out because it thinks this guy can't attract a woman. But when I shift the stance and I say, like, I am a man looking for a woman, I am a husband looking for a wife, it
Mhm.
automatically generates the affordance landscape that you need. It automatically tells you what you need to do. You need to be looking to enhance your qualities of manhood to fit with the qualities of womanhood with somebody else. And that's what you're hunting for.
Mhm.
So the hunt turns twofold. There's a co-emergence going on. There is a hunt for cultivating qualities of manhood in you intrinsically. That's courage.
Yeah,
Well,
I would call that worthiness, right? And I would call that cultivating. But yeah, like
worthiness.
right, and
Okay, yeah. Worthiness. Yeah, okay,
like like
worthiness. Yeah. Okay.
like what is what is this man looking for a girl, right? Or like a boy looking for a girl, because like that's the way I would frame it, right? Like
Hmm.
that's not the man looking for a woman. The boy looking for a girl isn't worthy because he's a boy. Right?
I was
It's like
exactly. That's exactly what I was. I was a boy looking for a girl. That was exactly what I was. I was a
right,
boy
like
looking for a girl.
that
Yes.
framing, right? Like yes, your mind should panic because there's no answer in that frame,
Yes. It's a failed frame.
right?
The assumption, because if I look at it deeply, it is the teenage boy trying to live out his fantasy of being validated by the popular girl. That's what it was.
Right.
But when you adopt the encompassing framework, the framework that includes it but is not limited to it, which is husband wife, then things start to make sense because now you have your agency back. You know what you're supposed to do, you know where you're supposed to take action, which is cultivating your worthiness, and your surrender comes in just showing up in all the right places and just talking to people. Does that make sense?
No, I don't like
Mhm.
I was with you with the until the surrender is like,
Yeah,
like you surrender to the woman choosing you. Like it's
yeah.
like 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 in like you get to decide, right? But in some sense you don't get to decide. Like
Wait.
I'm
So the end of this, the end of what I just described for you was me surrendering to the woman choosing me.
let me just say, right?
Yeah.
So so you don't get to say yes, you only get to say no,
Okay.
right? So if a woman
Yes.
says yes to you, you can
Yes.
say no,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
surrender is in accepting the yes.
That's your part of the surrender.
Yes.
Hmm. Let me think about this. Something about it is
Like it's on a different level. Like just
okay.
right.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's because you yeah I want to use the word settle, right? Like and like I guess like I want to use it in the sense of settling in a nest, right?
Hmm.
You settle for her,
Yeah.
and because like in she she gets to see her hopes in you, right? And you get to see a, a wife that will be your wife. I cannot like
Yeah. I understand what you mean. I understand what you mean. Like there's a surrender from both sides happening, but each surrender is happening in a different way.
yeah,
But
like she gets to decide all the shit, right?
hmm,
But she only gets to decide it by keeping you high.
Yeah,
right?
exactly, exactly.
Because you need to
Yeah,
provide.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
this,
yeah. Sure, sure, sure. You
the
surrender to you surrender to her keeping you high, and she surrenders to you keeping her low, or something like that.
her safe.
Yeah, safe.
Yeah,
She gives herself to you, and you surrender to the fact that it's her choice to give herself to you,
yeah, and keep giving her like
and keep giving it. But that's the point. Your surrender includes you cultivating your worthiness. It is a surrender to God in a certain sense.
yeah, like I don't want to say no
Mm,
because like you're right, but also right, like if we include marriage, right,
hmm
like it goes beyond worthiness, right? Like now it's just like it is what it is. That doesn't mean that it absolves you of your responsibility, right? Because like I don't want to put that frame on because like
No,
that's a
no, no, no,
horrible
no, 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 no. On the
horrible
contrary. On
frame,
the
but also
contrary.
like uh, through good times and bad times and
Hmm
like yes, right? Like you're always supposed to strive, right? Like but like I don't even see that
Mm.
in
Yeah, yeah,
relationship
yeah,
to her
yeah,
or
yeah.
something,
I
right? Like
understand now. Let me okay. Let me say it another way. When you're seeking for a relationship, you need to surrender to that requirement.
yes,
You surrender to that requirement. There's a requirement of worthiness, and which is through the cultivation of these qualities and these traits. Only then are you doing the hunt properly. Only
yeah,
then are you
like
seeking the right affordances between you two.
well, like like in some sense you're being hunted, right? Because she's choosing you, right? So so like why do men work out, right? Like why do
To attract a bit,
right,
to attract the hunter.
right.
Actually, but no, no. But then you're adopting a feminine perspective. Then you're
No,
saying,
it's not a feminine perspective, right? Because like what does working out mean? It means that you're strong. You take care of yourself. Like you show commitment, right?
I
You
feel
show
like
your
this is
ability
this is this is
to
gonna
compete
get
in the masculine hierarchy.
this discussion is gonna go to infinity because
No, no, it's
that,
it's
that
not. No, no, it's not a discussion that goes to infinity because the way that you present yourself has a certain direction,
okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I understand now. Now I know what you mean. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, sure.
right? So so
So
so you, so you don't dress up like the clowns in the pride parade
yes, yes, yes. So
because
so
they're clowns and they have all sorts of color on their face, and that's not attractive
so
in a
the
man.
male the male version of makeup, the male equivalent of makeup is the attribute of strength, the show of strength.
Well, I would say curves, but like because like
Courage, yeah.
curves are a signal of capacity for reproduction,
Hmm
right? So like
No, 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 no. I mean, in the man, the the equivalent of makeup in the man
I don't
is
think it's makeup. Like makeup is something you wear. Like working out is not something you wear. You
fine.
don't put it
Okay.
on. Like it is a
All right. All
fundamental
right.
distinction,
Curves. Yeah. Okay. Curves. Yeah.
right?
What I mean is that whatever it is that you are trying to genuinely exude and show in the role that you are trying to partake is the features of strength.
Yeah,
You're
or
trying to
competence.
you are surrendering to your strength and competence as a man. You are surrendering to the call for strength as a man,
Yeah, yeah. You're
right?
showing that you can provide in a certain way, right?
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
the provision is safety and a home and food and hopefully companionship, right? But that one is actually optional for women.
hmm
Like they want to feel safe. Like that's the primary thing.
Yeah, I know
And
what you mean.
they want to have a place that they can raise their kids without worrying how to raise their kids.
This opens my eyes big time, actually. Because in my case, the first thing I offer is companionship.
Right? Which is feminine.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if this is a mistake or
Yes.
not. Thank
Yes.
you, Habibi. Thank you. Thank you for letting me figure it out for myself, Habibi. I need to reflect on that because it's dangerous. If you're wrong, it's very dangerous.
Why?
Huh? Because offering companionship is also valuable.
Is what?
Is also valuable.
In
Offering
what way?
companionship is valuable in the way that you're showing the person that you are capable of thinking deeply and reflecting. And that's
And
valuable from a
how's
spiritual perspective, because then you are a good spiritual guide.
no, it's not.
You don't think so?
Do you think all these gurus aren't that? All these people who have sex with women, like, and then they're like, afterwards, they're like, oh yeah, they
Okay, when you're talking about the average woman and not an ideally wise woman, sure. Okay.
yeah. Well, I'm starting to wonder if wise women exist. Like, you got to show me one
That's
because
one
I
of my
haven't seen
fears.
them.
That is one of my fears, my friend. That is one of my biggest fears. Can't believe I'm saying this stuff online in public. I think they do. I've seen a few.
Oh yeah,
I've seen a
Sh-
few.
show me.
No, I know one. I know one for sure.
Like, I wanna
My
get
colleague
into
is
this.
one, I'd say.
No, but
My
but
mom,
for
my mom was definitely nah. Yeah, my mom was definitely one.
like there's a feminine. Okay, I don't want to go here, but okay. Women have natural wisdom,
Mm.
right?
Yes,
So
yes.
so that's what intuition is,
Mm.
right? But I'm talking about wisdom.
You're talking about the recognition that this is a man worthy of the name.
I don't get it.
The wisdom, the natural wisdom that you're
Hmm.
you're invoking right now is when the woman recognizes, despite the fact that she says, I'm looking for a man who's going to be my friend and he's going to be nice to me,
Hmm.
on the level of basic instincts, on the level of the subconscious, he's going to be attracted to the person who is going to be the provider. That's what you're saying.
No, that is true, but that
Hmm.
wasn't what I was saying at all.
Okay. Okay.
Like, what I was saying is, like women, they are connected to being in a really direct way, right? Because like
Mm.
they carry beings in their belly and then
Mm.
on their breast, and then they have to be like, oh, what is it, like like a observatory,
Yeah.
focusing on the
Vigilant.
kids, right?
Vigilant. Yeah.
So and then she has a period, right? So there's all of these external imposition, right? So she gets dragged out of the egoic perspective.
Yes. Yes, she
True
does.
nature,
Yes.
true nature, not true spiritual development. Now,
Okay.
that is accompanied with spiritual development, right? Like, I'm not discounting all of that, but it it is different for the man, right? And so, like, the man is having to do the spiritual development in an active way, right? Like, he
Mm.
needs to come from the barbaric state
Yeah.
to a cultivated state,
Yeah.
and that transformation has to be self regulation. Like, that's not something that gets inherited from being in the world,
Okay.
right? Like, this is a thing that is earned.
Okay.
And
So okay, go on. Go
I
on.
well, I like if we're talking about spiritual wisdom,
Mhm.
right? Like now we're talking about an extension of what it means to be well, like in culture, right? Um, in relation to God, right? And like I'm not saying it's unavailable for women or whatever, right? But like I'm saying that they have a different way in, right? And that the way that they're connected to the material is dysregulating in a
Mhm.
way that men don't have that dysregulation.
Mhm.
And like this is a theory, but like there's a reason why priests can only be men and all sorts of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot
Mhm.
like this has to do with pre with the ability to be receptive and wise within certain bounds, right? Like
Mhm.
again, right? Like women have wisdom that men have bad access to, right? Just
Mhm.
and it has a different domain of value, right? Like it has it's wisdom that is more pointed towards the moments
Mhm.
effectively. I
Mhm.
think that's the point. Like the women are more dealing with the here and now,
Yeah.
which is fine if they have a man that protects them
Yeah. Yeah.
or a culture or whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And and so the man has to build out of the here and now to anticipate the future so that they can protect the women in like a meta way, right? And like I don't know, like so if you say you know a wise woman, like I'm willing to see it, right? But like all the women that I've felt were wise or whatever, right, or well put together, they were feminine,
Mhm. Mm.
right?
Absolutely. They
And
are absolutely feminine.
well, but I I think the way that we describe wisdom or recognize wisdom is masculine.
Mhm.
It is actually having to do with directing, yeah, well, directing
Yeah.
as such.
Directing the course of things. It's coming
Yes,
from above rather than coming from below.
yeah. Oh, I like that directing.
This is yeah. This is going in a very like I can discuss this for ages now, but mm,
Well, no, let's go back to the mystery,
yeah, the mystery. Yeah.
right? So, like, I think if we're talking about feminine wisdom, like,
Mm.
I think maybe a good way to summarize that is how to relate to the mystery, like, like, and and the masculine wisdom is how to relate to God. There you got it.
Hmm. Yes. The masculine wisdom is how to relate to God. Tell me more about that.
Or God the Father,
Okay.
right? Like you could say the feminine wisdom is relating to Mother Nature. Like there you go.
Mm.
It's like there's a reason why like God the Father is masculine, right? And Adam is in his image, right? And Eve was created in relation to Adam, not to God.
Mm.
So like
Yeah.
there's
Okay. Mm. Mm. So you're saying that the role of the masculine is related to God. It's not like you adopt the masculine while relating to God, because this is how I understood you.
no, not like God the Father, God
Hmm.
the King, right? Lord, whatever, right? Like they're
Hmm.
all masculine. roles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're roles of authority,
Mm-hmm.
right? Different manners and different ways of having authority,
Mm-hmm.
and they need to lord over something, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the feminine, like the church is the like it's the bride of Christ, like it's the
Mm-hmm.
feminine.
Mm-hmm.
So uh like what am I saying? Well, like what is the mystery, right? Let me rephrase it this way.
Yeah.
is is the man still mysterious after you surrender to him?
Can be. Depends on the man.
No, like I don't think so, because if you truly surrender to him,
Mm-hmm.
he shows his true colors.
Hmm.
Like this was in all the arguments that I got with the woman. It's like, no, you need to take a position of vulnerability. And only if you can take a position of vulnerability, then I can come to you and take care of you. But if you take a position of strength, now you're competing with me.
Mm-hmm.
If you're competing with me, it will be war. Like what do you want from me if you're entering into competition with me? Like
Then we're not in the right
that I
relation.
become vulnerable?
I agree with what you said. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the man loses his mystery when she surrenders.
But like it has to do with what is okay. Like for me, God isn't mysterious. Like he's unknown, but he's not
Hmm.
mysterious because
Oh,
I accepted him as a good God. Like he's
okay.
just the source of good.
Okay.
Like, and that's not mysterious. Like that, like he's known. Like I don't
Okay.
know what it means, but I have a relationship that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
and I have accepted. Right, I have resigned to it,
Okay.
and like I think it's the same with the man.
Ah, okay. Okay. I'm starting to get a bit more what you're trying to say.
Right,
Because with a mystery, you don't know if it's good or bad. You don't know what's going to come from it. But as soon
right,
as you surrendered, you've already decided this is good for me. So it's no
right,
longer a mystery.
right.
That's why he loses his mystery, because he shows his true color. Because now
Either he's
you've
gonna live up to it or he's not. Right? It's
exactly
like
either he's gonna live up to it or not. It's like the mystery part is like, is he good for me? Is he not good for me? And then the surrender part is like, okay, no, I'm gonna have faith that he's actually good on me. And then you pretty much collapsed the mystery into faith, and then it's no longer a mystery. I see what you mean now. Now it clicked. Now it makes sense why you don't consider God mysterious.
right.
God is mysterious in other senses, but not in that sense. I understand what you mean now. Yeah. Hmm.
No, but like for real, like I no, it's worse. I have convicted myself
Hmm.
to not allowing God to be mysterious.
Okay.
Because if I do that, I'm not in right relationship.
Hmm. I see it as the contrary.
Yeah. Well, there you go. The hermeneutics of suspicion.
No, no,
Concretely.
no, 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 no. I really,
Yeah.
I still think we're talking about two different things when we're talking about mystery right now, because mystery is the exact opposite of the emergence of suspicion. Because when you're in a relationship of mystery, at least the kind of mystery I'm talking about, I don't know what you're talking about. Because when I'm relating, you need to relate to your child as a mystery. You need to relate to your friend as a mystery. Not as a mystery, but you have to leave some room for mystery. Otherwise,
No,
you're just putting a
miracles, not
label.
mystery. What are you talking about?
Miracles,
Yeah, I don't leave room for mystery. I leave room for miracles.
like
I don't know. Like miracles are the things that are outside the frame that change things in ways that you can't conceive of.
you and I think a lot alike, by the way, because before I met John, I would call these things miracles as well.
Yeah. Well, what would you call miracles after you've met John?
Like, I don't know, like I touch the cup and my hand goes through. That's a miracle.
Yeah, that would
Or,
be a miracle.
yeah,
It's just like, okay,
but, but I don't want to get into this discussion with you because I do not have the energy for it. But I'm starting to get the sense that there's a very rigid perspective going on here. Because when you
where?
say that when people do surprising things, that's miraculous, that
Mhm.
means you're assuming that whatever, however you're framing them, is absolutely true.
No.
Then what does it mean? Because
That
I'll
that
tell you
means that means that I'm undecided. Like I'm in as I think Fake used the word
exactly. Yeah, you
aphoria.
have to be undecided. You have to aporia. Yeah, you have to be in aporia sometimes. Not
No,
not
all the time.
not all the time,
No,
but
all the time. Like I'm telling you, all the time.
wait. Let me rewind, make my point, and then you can tell me that
Okay.
aporia thing. For example, when I get annoyed at someone, I have
Hmm.
to forgive them before I can communicate with them further, right?
No. Like you can communicate with people you
Yes,
don't
but if
forgive.
you want to communicate with the right relationship with them, if you want to properly communicate
No,
them, not communicate with them in your head, no, you have to forgive them. You have
no,
to relate to the person.
no.
You
You
have to
don't
relate
have
to the
to.
person.
No.
If you want to relate genuinely and authentically to the person, you're going to
Yeah,
have
but
to forgive them.
no. Like there. Like I can authentically be angry.
Sure, but that's not
Like
what
I
I'm
can
saying.
authentically punish people without forgive. Like no. That just means like you only
If you
forgive them.
want to relate to the person, to the reality of the person, to what they really mean, to what they're really saying,
Yeah, but I don't.
how can you relate to them if you still have in mind what you think is true and what is not really
No,
true?
it doesn't matter what I think is true. Like I don't
That's exactly what I meant. That's
no
exactly what I meant.
no. Like it doesn't matter what I think it's true. Like what matters is what's happening. Like
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. When I'm talking about mystery, I'm saying ask yourself what's happening. And that means you need to
no
take.
no, but that's a mistake.
Then what are you saying?
Like I'm stating I'm stating that you just have to embrace euphoria more. Like just like
What?
why
Sorry.
this state of not knowing. Like why do you need to know things? Like you don't need to know
Yeah.
things to
That's,
participate in
but
them.
that state of not knowing is what I'm referring to as a mystery.
No, it's not a mystery. It's absence. Like like there because okay, how do I say this?
Mm.
Things just are. Like why
Yeah.
would there be a mystery? They just are. Like I can look at the plant and I can find plenty of mystery in the plant, but I'm not. Because like if I would do that, that would be bad for me. Or could be bad, depending like if I have it in a proper container, it might actually be good, right? But like that's not a thing that I should do unless I have a specific purpose.
No, that's true. That's true.
Okay, so
That's
so
true.
then
That's
like
absolutely
every
true. Yeah.
time you get into a mystery, that just means that you lack purpose.
That's a good point.
Which makes it we're feminine again. Feminine again. It's like
No, no, you're right. You're right. You're right. Well, yes, you're seeking purpose. When you get into a mystery, you're seeking purpose.
okay.
That's something I would say. Something I would say is definitely important.
Right, but still, right, like maybe I'm wrong, but I do
Mhm.
think that the Sphinx, right, or in the book club we're talking about the what's it called? The angels again, the four-headed ones.
Seferim,
Yeah, seraphim. Yeah,
seraphim, yeah.
they're I think masculine,
Hmm.
right? They're a riddle, so they're not placed in the mystery in in the sense of inviting temptation. No, they're
Hmm.
actually a threat, right? Like they're
Right.
something to overcome,
Hmm.
right? And so like that's converting the mystery under a purpose. So,
I
like
didn't get this one. Sorry. My
so
mind
so
is reaching
it's
its
it's
limits
it's
right
it's
now.
just it's just how you approach things, right? Like if you go from okay, like this is the will that needs to be expressed, right? Like
Yes. 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 Yes.
it is
Yes.
a
Yes.
riddle
Yes.
to overcome.
Yes. 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 Okay. Okay.
So and like it's like my mind just goes wacky, right? Because like if you if you come up to the Sphinx and you don't have a purpose, it's like you have this, this giant creature. It's like
What do you
let me,
want?
what do you want? Like
I don't know.
let me ask you five questions. You're like, five questions. If you answer wrongly, I'll kill you. Like it's like what the fuck?
Okay. Yeah, you have a point. You have a point there. You have a point there. Because in the end, every mystery needs to be turned
Redeemed,
into redeemed. It needs to be redeemed, and that means readopting the masculine perspective from the beginning.
right?
That means readopting the masculine perspective from the beginning. Yeah. No, you have a point about that. That in that sense, I was taking a bit to extremes.
No,
That
no,
you
no, no.
yeah.
No. I think it fits perfectly, right? Because like
Hmm.
when you do the movie or the game example, the masculine perspective has been taken by the creator,
Yes, absolutely.
right? And now we get into the consumer society and all of that, right? So you're in a consuming relationship where like what, man? Okay, so the consuming, I need to. That's inherently feminine.
Yeah, consumption. Yeah, that's a good one.
So
Actually, yes, consuming. Ooh, that's what's been happening to me. Okay, cool. Go on. Cool. It's interesting how I said it. That's what's been happening to me. Go on. Sorry.
yeah, well, it's happening to you.
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this the consumption is a lack of purpose. Like
Exactly.
oh my god,
Yes. Woo! That's a good one. I like it.
holy cow! Oh,
You gave me a
now I'm
spiritual.
worried that my brain produces this stuff. It's like what's happening, right? And again, right, that could be a mystery, but it's
Yeah.
not because I'm doing something. Like
Yeah.
I can't be distracted.
Yes, 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 yes. Because you are not imposing, but rather bringing something forth into the world.
Right, like there's a
Yes.
spirit, right, and it can participate with me.
Ooh, bro. Bro. Like, okay, this is something I've been doing recently. So I had this pattern that when I would want to work on something, I would sit there and just expect it to happen. For some reason, I'd be so pissed at myself. Now, what I do is I start talking to myself and give myself instructions. Now you're going to do this. Now you're going to do this. Now it's like, you know, like
Mhm.
you start you start engaging with what you're doing rather than expecting it to passively give you.
Participating.
Participating. Yes,
Yes. Right.
participation.
You
Absolutely.
have to submit. And in order to submit, there has to be a mission.
Yes, I understand what
Like
you mean now.
that's my
Mm,
article that I'm writing on.
mm,
Submission.
mm,
And in order to have a mission, there needs to be a head of the mission. Right. So
mm-hmm.
if you are on a mission alone, you still have to submit to the mission, right? And you have to live out the function of the head. Because if you don't live out the function of the head,
Okay. Yes. This is why I get so frustrated when I try to be creative because I somehow expect the answer to be just given. But when I actually seek a framing and I surrender to that framing, then the creativity starts working because the
yeah.
participation works. Yeah.
And the problem is, right, like this is where my problem lies, is like I have a problem with switching frames,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what does it mean to seek a framing?
Mm.
That like now like now I don't think there is a masculine way to seek framing. If that makes sense. Like that has to be
Because you
given
have
to
to
you.
surrender to something else, you mean?
Wait, like no, but you can't impose a frame that you don't have. Like
Absolutely. Yeah, you can't. You
so
can't do
you
that.
have to receive it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I may extend my music analogy, one of my greatest insights in composing was take up a frame you're familiar with. So, for example, I was I had this vague criteria today. You're going to be creative right now, and
Right?
obviously nothing was happening. Then I remembered something I used to do when I was younger. Is that you know the card game Yu-Gi-Oh?
Hmm.
So take the card game Yu-Gi-Oh and make up a card based on the first object you see. It's like
Hmm.
tree, okay, make up a card on a tree, and then it starts flowing because you know you have kind of inputs. You have predefined inputs, and all you have to do is fill in the blanks, and then the
Right.
participation becomes facilitated.
Right. But that's how I write. That's
Yes,
how I
exactly.
speak.
Adopting the
Right.
framing. Yeah, that's
Right.
how we
So
all do that. Yeah.
so what is my responsibility in the conversation with you? Right. It's to adopt the framing
Mm-hmm.
in which the framing can speak for itself.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Right. And that's like I wrote an article about authority. Like that's what authority is.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah, 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 yeah. I read that.
And,
I read that article. I read that article.
right.
Yeah.
And that's how you speak for God. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's how
That's
you
how you know you're in authority because you
yeah,
can
that's how you
clearly
can
say the
prophesize.
framing. Mm.
But then you have to know that you're in the right frame, which is again, right? And like that's where you need Jesus. Like
Yeah. Let me absorb this a little because this is an important point. So you're talking about the absolute frame, like the framing of your whole life when it comes to Jesus, or
the frame that gives all frames,
the frame of
justifies
all
all
frames, the
frames.
frame of
The
frames,
King of Kings,
the King of
like
Kings.
the Lord of Lords.
Okay, let me see, because I think this is something I might be doing without noticing. So if you were to talk about Jesus without talking about Jesus,
Right.
would
Jesus
you
is the
say it's
yeah.
about dying so that you can be reborn?
If you would ask me about Jesus, I would say Jesus is the resolution to all the frames.
The resolution to all the frames.
Right. So if you want to build up a hierarchy, right? The thing that binds the hierarchy together
Mm,
is giving meaning to all the frames, right? And that's
yeah.
what Jesus does,
Mm,
right? And so if if it says that he's mediating between as a priest between us and God in heaven after he died, right? So what does that mean? Well,
mm.
that means that he's translating the will of God
Yeah,
for
yeah,
us.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let me try to see if I understood your metaphor. So when it comes to creativity, if I'm saying I want to be creative without adopting to the frame, I'm faced with combinatorial explosion, I die.
Right,
Same with God. If I
right,
say I want to face God without the frame of frames, I'm going to die.
right, right,
That's what you mean.
right.
So he's like, he kind of concentrates God and gives you a more digestible version for you. That's what the frame of frames is.
Well, he gives you the version of God in your frame.
Beauty, basically.
No,
Beauty. Not beauty?
goodness,
Fine. Not beauty. Fine.
goodness. Like,
Goodness. Goodness. Okay, fine. Goodness. Whatever. But we're talking, the words make sense to me. I mean, so he gives you the version of God in your frame.
yeah, God is good. Like, yeah,
Okay,
and
okay. Goodness. Goodness. Right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Because I thought you were talking about the platonic goodness, not
and the goodness has no. It is the platonic goodness.
like wholeness.
He's the source of platonic goodness.
Wholeness. You mean wholeness. Unity. Irreducibility to your parts.
No, he he's diversity and unity at one,
Diversity and unity at once. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, exactly. Diversity and unity at once. Okay.
at all levels, in
Relevance
communion.
realization. Yeah, thank you. Yes, yes. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. I'm a bit worried because I'm starting to think that I've actually been relating to Christ for the past
Yes,
few days, just without calling it Christ.
yeah.
But for me, this is what God is.
Well, yeah, but no, but there, there's a important thing that he became flesh, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because that that means that uh, he fills up the human perspective, right? So it's not only the divine up in heavens; it's also the divine in human form.
It's also the absolute becoming relative because the absolute has to be relative.
Yes,
Yeah, he's basically fulfilling his absoluteness by becoming. Is that what you mean?
he's giving flesh to the absoluteness.
Okay, giving flesh to the. Okay, we need to have a separate
and
discussion
and
about this.
and
This is a very important
and
topic for me.
and and the fulfilling is in living the flesh out. So that's it. The fulfilling is in time, right? So like
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah. Sure,
from
sure.
beginning to the end of life,
Yeah. Ooh. Mm.
right? So he's a seed, right? And the seed grows into a tree,
Yeah.
is glorified, and returns to heaven,
Mm.
offered up. That's that's how things go come to fulfillment.
Yes. So his story is basically the story of the absolute, not the absolute, the story of the
Of
pattern you find
fulfillment in
everywhere.
human form. Like,
Yeah, like coming down, living, dying, being offered up. Like this is the cycle that everybody goes through all of the time.
right.
And this is what I
And
meant:
he
dying
comes
and being
out,
reborn.
he comes down as a seed from God
Okay.
in Mary.
Okay. This is gonna take a separate discussion.
Well,
No,
like, I
I
don't
love
know if I have the answers. Like,
I no,
I'm
it's not about the
that's my
answers.
mystery, bro.
This is not
Like,
but this is also my mystery. That's the thing. This topic is really important for me, and it's very, very reassuring that we're thinking the same. And that's why I want to probe to make sure we're thinking the same, and I'm not just projecting on you, because I've been obsessed with this topic for a very long time now.
yes,
It's been
but
super liberating.
I feel like the framing that you're using is detrimental to your understanding.
You think so?
Yeah, that's
Which one?
probably
What's my framing?
well, absolute and relative and stuff like I don't know what that is serving. Like,
No, I don't use these. No. I'm just
okay,
saying it to communicate something. I'm just
okay.
probing you. That's not the framing I use.
Yes,
No. Absolutely
but
not.
when I hear that, my mind goes like maybe.
No. Forget it. It's abstract, but I got excited and I wanted to just throw words on you to
Okay,
make sure that we're thinking
like
the same.
like I'll
No.
be
That's not the
feminine.
framing.
Throw your words. I'll cover my heart.
No. This is. I wasn't being. I was being crazy, not masculine, right there. I was being chaotic. No. That's. I mean, that's just words. I mean, sure. I use these words, and I kind of have my own. But I always relate them to a framing that's more in the now, like how things are unfolding in the moment. So there's always something very precise I mean when I say these things. That's why
So
I'm saying it's very important to talk about them.
yeah, like yeah, we'll do a different conversation
Yeah,
then
we need to
because
do a different
I was
conversation
going to
about that.
go
Yeah.
into Islam and its connection to this, but whatever. Like we'll maybe go into that some
We
other
should
time.
talk about this.
So to go back to the mystery, right?
Yeah.
Like so. Okay. Right. Okay. So where my mind goes is unearned wisdom,
Hmm.
right? So if we say that the man is fulfilling the role of God to the woman and that the man is a mystery for the woman, right? And like she's in some sense um, getting access to something beyond her, like literally through the man,
Hmm.
which is actually true.
Hmm.
Then trying to attain the mystery is gonna result in her receiving something that she can't hold
Hmm.
because she hasn't earned it. It's given to her by the man,
Right. Right. Right.
right? And like that relationship is true for people to God as well,
Hmm.
right? So if you are like, ooh, mystery, 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 like
Hmm.
what you're doing is you're walking in the dark and you're
Hmm.
treading on ground that God should reveal to you, not on ground that you've earned or whatever. Like
Yeah.
you're not
Yeah.
supposed to be there.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's like you're kind of imposing a mystery on something that's not mysterious anymore. Like you need to wait for it to come to you and not try to impose it on yourself by leaping forward to it. Like it comes to the
Right,
example that comes to mind right now is me in front of a tree trying to see the tree with fresh eyes again. Like, fine, it's a tree. You see it as a tree. Like, why are you forcing yourself to see it with fresh eyes again? I don't know if
right.
that makes sense. Hmm.
Yes. Right. But this is for Vaki. This is
Hmm.
for Vaki talking to Hermes. Like, why are you talking to Hermes?
Hmm.
Like, stop. Like, just stop.
Okay.
Right? Like, there's no reason to do that. Like, just
Mm.
don't. Like who are you fooling? Like, anyway, just
Like the what came to mind right now is it's something that when I was really obsessed with all the practices, like I want to do as many of the practices from Vervaeke as possible. But then
mhm,
it struck me at some point, like it's not the point. It's not the point. The point is being good. The
right,
point is virtue. The point is being playing your role in society. That's the
right.
point. All of the gnosis stuff that comes with time, sure, but it's not the point. That's
Well,
just
but
a
that's
bonus.
that's the age of gnosis, right? Like, if
Yeah.
I just have this one thing, and like,
Hmm.
what is this? This is the story of Adam and Eve and the apple
Yeah.
or the
Okay.
fruit,
Mm.
right? It's like, ooh, like who's reaching for the fruit? Eve, and then she gets the man to eat it.
Mm.
It's like what's happening there, right? So there's an overextension, and then the masculine is like dragged along, right? And this is like, what do you not want from your wife?
Mm.
You don't want your wife to drive you beyond your station. And like you want to have examples in history where women drove their man into wars
Mm.
or whatever. Like there's a big list. Like, so yeah, I don't I like why are all the women fucked up? Or like, why are the women into spirituality? Like, what are they doing? They're
Mm.
doing this. They're doing relating to the mystery, getting unearned wisdom. Then they're lost. And like, why is that happening? Because there's no man directing them in the right frame. Like like if the man feeds the woman frames, right? Then she can grow into the frames, right? Like, just like if the man gives the woman framing of rooms in the house, then she can grow into the house and make the house a home. There's a spiritual version of that.
Okay.
And I like, this is why I think women like don't have wisdom, right? Like I don't know. Maybe there's a path there that I'm not seeing, but like I'm just damn skeptical at this point. And
This is yeah. I don't know. I get uncomfortable when things go in this direction because um like I always try to be wary when I say like no, people of this category are all like this and people of this category are all like this. But I get your point. I get what you're trying to say, and you have a point. You definitely make a
no,
point.
but like
Yeah.
for real, like I want to see it, right? Like I want to see it with my own eyes
Mm.
to believe it. Like at this point, like
Like
I'm at that point.
you would like to see
Yes,
a
I
woman
want to be
without the
proven wrong.
framing who was able to find her own framing and
Yes,
adopt the
I want
framing
to
and
be
adopted it.
proven wrong.
You want to prove her, okay?
But I'm like, I don't believe it anymore. Like I just I can't believe it anymore.
Yeah, I know what you mean because you basically that's all you're seeing in front of you right now.
Yes.
The untamed mystery, just mystery for the sake of mystery. It's just like floating around, nothing.
Yeah. And again, right? Like, this is not denigrating women. Like, women are
Mm.
amazing. They have their role, and like without women,
You're
like,
just talking about the current state of women, of what happened when things go unguided, things go
yes,
without caution.
I think uh yeah, I think what is happening is a disaster, right?
Mm.
Like I think like women are literally adrift in the wind, right?
Mm.
Like they're just like being swept into places,
Mm.
and uh and the men are incapable in providing proper frames. Like they just
Mm.
like in some sense, like that also happened, right? Like the man failed them, but also, right, like this is at least my experience with dating, like the women can't receive frames, and like I don't know what's left at that point. Like I'm getting pretty damn desperate. Like I'm like, holy cow, like if I want to find a woman, a proper woman, like that's a miracle, like for real. and I'm really, really, really worried about the state of society, because like whatever this spirit that is is governing things is going to create, I can't see the good. And then like it's even worse. Like I don't see how we get back to the good spirit like that.
You feel like we're cut off now.
Yeah, I'm reading Jeremiah, and
Hmm.
it's like he's like, well, God is gonna smash Israel, and he's gonna use other people to do it, and like he's gonna do it by the sword, by disease, and by wild animals or something. Like it's like, okay, like that sounds like today, and I'm like, I hope I'm wrong, because like I don't want to live through that. It's like,
Hmm.
and I don't even know if I can. Like that's the worst. It's like,
I can see sincerity in your eyes. You're genuinely worried that this was happen. This was going to happen.
yeah. Like I see it all.
Mm.
It's like same.
1 to 1.
Yeah, well, not 1 to 1, because it has a different jacket, right? But
Yeah, different jacket, but same spirit.
yeah,
Same spirit of what's going on.
and that spirit has manifested in different empires, right? Like the Roman Empire also had this degeneracy at its end, and the Greeks also had this degeneracy at its end. And first I was just like, oh yeah, the word degeneracy, and like, yeah, there's the cycle, blah blah blah, right? And like now I'm seeing like the manifestations of degeneracy, and the implications, and the way in which they're stuck, and like the way that they're inevitably uh well, they're reciprocally narrowed, and they're not going to be able to reciprocally open, because
Hmm.
they don't have the
Hmm.
capacity to do so, right? Like it's not like at this point it's no longer, oh, I don't want to, or like I'm too lazy to. It's like, no, you like there's a physical can't,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah, there's an
there's an
incapacity.
actual spiritual
Block.
uh idiocy. No, not block.
Spirit, spiritually retarded. Yeah,
Retardation. Yes.
spiritually retarded people. Wow. Okay, that's a very sad thing to say, by the way. Like I'm not.
Yeah,
Um,
but like it's obvious. Like, oh, we have a bunch of people that don't do spiritual upkeep. Like, duh, we're retarded. Like how could you think differently?
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Like the garden has not been watered, the plants are gonna die.
Yeah.
But just yeah, I don't see it as clearly as you do, but I get a sense of what you're saying. At least the breadth of it.
Yeah, don't.
The problem is that I like to take responsibility as much as possible, and that
Uh,
often means me taking the blame for certain things. Like I
no,
don't
no.
like to say that this is society.
Taking
No,
blame is not being responsible.
not blame.
Fixing
Sorry,
things
no,
is.
taking responsibility. Taking responsibility. Sorry, I agree. Fully agree. Fully agree.
It's
I
like,
like to take responsibility to adapt as much as possible, and this is one of my problems: is that I don't know when to stop adapting. Like,
yeah,
sometimes you
but
shouldn't
but
adapt.
yeah, exactly.
Mm,
Like like again, tell us, right? It's like, dude, like first of all, which direction are you adapting, and why is
yeah,
this
why are you
helpful
adapting?
at all? And then
Mm,
secondly, like what other directions are there? Because like maybe that's more well, not maybe, definitely that's more
mm,
important than like figuring out whatever direction you're on.
mm.
And again, right, this is why you need Christ.
No, I understand what you mean. I understand what you mean.
It's like the point that draws you in so that you can have a direction. Like,
We need to discuss this in specific. This needs a private talk about Christ. Just what Christ is. What do you mean by Christ? What do I mean by whatever it is I'm talking about? And then we see if this
like it's
this works
really
forward.
simple. All the good things. There
All
you
the
go.
good.
I just put them all in the same place. It's like, and I put the name Christ on it,
Yeah.
because that's what the Jews did, right?
Mm.
And the Jews, they said it, right? Like he's the Messiah, right? Like he's the one that's going to save it. Like,
Mm.
what's the thing that's going to save you? Well, it's the well that won't run dry, right? Like it's all of these names.
The well that won't run dry. Nice, 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 nice. There's that well again. Yeah.
It's all of these names,
Okay.
right? And so like if you need saving, you need to appeal to these names. Like
Mm.
all these names are unified in Christ, right? And then in the narrative, they're bound, right? So there's a constellation pointing towards Christ. And like
Which book do you recommend?
which book?
Which part of the New Testament do you recommend?
No, not like I actually don't understand the New Testament.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
You're the strangest Christian I've met. That's why I like talking to you. So the most mysterious Christian I've met.
It, like the New Testament
Yeah.
is a reference slash response to the Old Testament. So it's nonsensical out of that context.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that there's nothing of value, because there's
No,
plenty
I
of
know, I know, I know, but
wisdom and stuff.
it's like this is a big topic right now because my projections are breaking down right now, which means I'm softening up, and the mystery is opening up, and I need to start learning who the fuck am I talking to.
You need to watch the book club that we're doing.
Yeah, I need to watch the
Like
book.
everybody needs to, but no, no,
Everybody needs to.
like
You guys have
I'm
it
getting
online, right?
right.
The
Like
mi-
they're
yeah.
they're live streamed, so you can just
Mm.
do that. I mean, you can read the book. You should order the book.
Yeah, I this is one of the books I've really been considering for a while to read.
We have a PDF on the Discord server,
Yeah.
but yeah, you should
Mm.
buy it anyway
No,
if you want to make
I would
notes.
prefer buying it.
Well, you can do both.
Yeah.
It's like if like he's not gonna be upset if you have the PDF if you buy the book. Come on, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
like if he's gonna do that, then I'll burn the book in front of the camera. Like, it's like- I'll stop the book club as well. Like, oh
Oh
my
my
god.
God. Yeah. No, I think
Um,
he's probably fine with it. Have you ever met Peugeot?
no, I
No.
met Jonathan on the Discord
Jonathan. Yeah, yeah, I meant
Q
Jonathan.
and
Yeah.
A. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
and my buddies also in real life.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
they went to the conference in where is
Yeah.
it? Miami or whatever, like Florida.
Thunder Bay, no?
Hmm?
Not Thunder Bay?
No.
Not
Yeah,
Thunder
that as well. Yeah, yeah.
Bay. Mm.
But there was more there in Florida. Anyway, um, yeah, let's close it down. Like
Yeah.
I man, yeah, I still want to know more about this feminine perspective on your side, right? Because like, so so there's something in approaching the mystery, and I think at least I said it for myself is in the surrender there is a finding. Well, there's the establishment of a relationship and a binding,
Hmm.
and that binding removes the mystery, not by knowing it, but by being known. I like this.
Yes. 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 Thank you. Yes. By being known through it. Yes. Yes. I love it. Not by knowing it, by being known by means of it.
So then there's two responses apart from surrender, right? Like one is retreat, right? Like in fear,
Hmm.
and the other one is imposition, right? So now that which is bigger than you has to conform to you, and that's where mercy comes in,
Hmm.
right? So so the grace is, I think, in the invitation, right? Like I'm extending the invitation to
Mm-hmm.
you,
Mm-hmm.
and you're allowed to say yes to me. That's the grace.
Yes. Yes. I like it. Yes. I like it. It mirrors something that DC Schindler once said about how God creates. God allows you to be, and you, with your freedom, you say yes. God allows you to have personhood, and you say yes.
And so the mercy is in tolerating the imposition as the higher.
Mm. Or rather, presenting the hierarchy in a tolerable way. That's the mercy.
No, like I'm just going to my fight, right?
Okay. Oh, okay, 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 okay. Yeah, okay.
So
Yeah,
I'm in a fight,
yeah.
right? So she's from below
Mm-hmm.
asserting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have the right to snap her back to below,
Okay,
right? I'm justified in doing that,
okay.
but I choose not to.
Yeah,
That's mercy.
yeah.
And if we look at modern women, they presume mercy,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which is horrifying,
All
which
right.
also removes the ability for gratitude.
Right, right. So you're saying they presume mercy on part of the man, which allows them to grow out of proportion, to outgrow the man, and become a competition with him.
No, no. They're blind to the dynamic of mercy,
Okay, they're blind to the dynamic of mercy. Okay.
right? So that's like like woman, I would have smacked you into the ground, but I'm not. You have to recognize that that is the case. If you don't realize that I could do that and I'm not doing
Then
that,
there
and
is
I'm
no.
choosing not to
Ah,
do that
yes, 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 yes.
because violence is bad. It's like, yes, maybe if you've ever been smacked into the ground, you realize that it's not happening at that point. It's like oh my god, now I'm fucking promoting violence. Holy shit. Anyway, like but you see, like what needs to happen to spiritually stunted people? They need to be whacked so that they can fall to the place and look up from the place and realize that they're not on that place all the time,
Mm, yeah, yeah. I was
right?
whacked. I was whacked.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I
I'm
wouldn't be
I'm
here.
like that's depression is getting whacked.
Exactly. The person is getting whacked. I was whacked
Yes,
with the divorce, right?
yeah, and basically that's God telling you, dude, you're in the wrong perspective. Like you
Yeah,
need to
exactly.
grow up.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah.
And instead we spin like 15,000 narratives why it's okay. It's like fuck no.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's happening.
Mm,
Like that, like there's a whole media build around that. Like what is the majority of spirituality is the same thing. Like doesn't matter what level of analysis. Like it's even John, or
mm,
especially John. It's like, oh, I'm trying to find the truth, so it's okay not to submit to the church. Like fuck you.
mm.
Like you think it's okay to wreak havoc in the name of truth, but by being prideful, but also pretending to be humble at the same time, knowing you're not, and then having a well, I need to chill. I've been upset, man. Like I saw women's talking in opposite of the feminine perspective, and I'm like criticizing society and the police, right? Acting in society is like, no, your role is to support the police and the victims so that they both get less bad. Like
Mm.
you don't criticize, you heal. Like
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's very true. You heal. Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing criticizing as a woman? Like, the only person that gets to criticize is the policeman who knows what the fuck he's doing and sees that like there's a better participation. Like everybody else doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Hmm.
They don't have the participatory knowledge. Like
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
and then it's like, well, yeah, like when I look from the outside, that violence seems excessive. It's like, what do you know? Like what are you like why are you even talking about this? Anyway, like it's
Hmm.
really bad. Like all of these people think like, oh, like I know I can talk about politics. I can talk about this. It's like you don't know shit. Like all you do is you put like 5 pieces on the board and say, well, with these 5 pieces on the board, scenario X should happen. It's like, yeah, but what about the 50,000 other pieces?
Yeah, relevance realization. Yeah.
Yeah, and seeing
Yeah.
the whole, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like they don't know what they don't know.
Right. Well,
And
but
they
like even if they knew, like that wouldn't like because they're not talking about solutions. They're talking about feelings. Like I don't like that the police is violent. Like that. Like
okay.
it's like that's the problem, right? Like people like the feminine is like, oh, like like this shouldn't happen, right? It's like yes, it shouldn't happen, but it had to happen because of all of these other things. Like I agree it shouldn't happen, but that's not the world we're living in. And it's
It's
like
like try to understand all perspectives before judging. That's what you're trying to say. Or
no, don't
honor the
try to
facts.
judge. Like
Don't
that's
try
the
to judge.
aphoria.
Don't
Like
judge.
don't try to
Yeah.
judge
Don't
because
judge. Yeah.
you're not. Who are you? like,
Yeah.
like why are you this arrogant prick that thinks he can say something about something he doesn't know about? Like
Yeah.
or he can speak about something after reading 2 or 3 articles. Like
Hmm. I think they're asleep, my friend. They're asleep. They don't know they know not what they do, right?
yeah,
That's literally what's going on. Because if they did know what they're doing, I'd be very concerned.
yes, but there's no way to communicate to them what they're doing. That's like
I'm
this
not
is
so
where I'm
sure.
upset.
I'm not so
No,
sure about that. I'm not so sure about that. I think there is a way, but it doesn't. It's not gonna have an immediate effect. It's gonna take time, and it's gonna take tolerance, which is something you don't like.
okay, but now you're talking about establishing a relationship and converting someone.
No, I'm not talking about converting someone.
Yes, no,
Well,
that's
you
that's
are
literally
no.
converting
You
someone.
are converting someone, but you're converting them from the inside, not from the outside. Not by imposing, but
Yeah,
by
but
making
that's
them
what
aware,
conversion is.
but
Like,
taking them to the limits of where they are. And yeah, you're converting them. Sure, okay, you're catalyzing something.
yeah, okay, but no,
Hmm?
like
No,
again,
no,
like
okay,
like we're talking about stunted people, right? Like like sometimes there's a gap too big
yeah.
that it cannot be bridged.
Maybe I'm naive.
That's
Maybe
that's
I'm
why
naive. I'm
submission and
okay.
surrender is important. Because sometimes there's just gaps that are you can't bridge or like are not worth bridging, so you allow someone
Yeah,
else who
I know
can
what you
to do
mean.
that.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah.
That's the solution. There's no other solution.
So this is kind of one of the things I always worry about. Like, but that's very hard. It's extremely hard. It's very hard to expect something like this, especially in this society.
Yeah, but that's why i'm
Hmm.
why i'm
That's why you're
so
depressed.
yeah in despair.
Hmm.
Like it's not that I'm hopeless, but it's like it's not going to happen. Like it's just not.
Well, you seem to need to know this more than I do. I'm sitting here in naive Aporia, and I still have hope. I still have optimism.
Well, okay, miracles happen, right?
Yeah, sure.
So, like,
No, it takes a miracle for me to believe in miracles. I wouldn't say I believe in miracles right now. I
no,
would
but
say I'm.
what can happen, right? Because, like, to be fair, all the propositional shit is bullshit, right? Like, it's all bullshit. Like
All the what?
all the propositional stuff is bullshit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like when
Okay. Yeah.
push comes to shove,
Yeah.
the true character gets revealed, right?
Yeah.
Which actually happened to Christ too, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
please take this cup away from me.
Yeah.
Look, like, okay, I'll drink the cup, right?
Mhm.
So when they say a common enemy unites, right? That's the push comes to shove,
Mm.
putting everybody in a frame.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the bullshit becomes bullshit because it's not participating in the
Yeah.
frame, and that's the
Yeah.
only thing that's relevant,
Right. 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 Right.
right?
Right.
But common enemy is not the answer because that's an identification against. So
Mm-hmm.
that's not a solution.
Mm. Wow. Okay. Wow. 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 That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So what needs to happen is a miracle, right? There needs to be this charismatic leader, the second coming, effectively, right?
That's what I keep telling people. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right? There
Yeah.
needs to be the second coming
Yeah.
that has presents a hope
Mm.
that people are willing to lay down their
Into the
ideological
ground.
arms for.
Yes. 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 There has to be that slap, that positive slap in the face.
Well, it's no, it's again, right? It's the same as with the woman. It's,
Mm.
do you choose me?
And there
That's
needs to be the one who's Messiah enough to do it.
right. And like what did Christ do? Because he was a really strange teacher, right? He went to his disciples and said, "Do you want to follow me?"
Mm-hmm.
Right? So he he gave them the full feminine perspective, the
Mm.
surrender all the things, right? But he did initiate the contact, right? Like he
Yeah.
was,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's not what happened, right? Like people came to a teacher and they asked.
Mm.
So what am I doing? Mystery. Oh yeah, so like, no, but
He offered them a mystery. That's what he did.
yes, yes, he did. Well,
And he was charismatic enough to capture them. Like a man is
right,
charismatic enough to capture a woman,
yeah.
to
Well,
steal their hearts.
fishermen, fishers of
Yeah.
men. He made them fish.
Yeah. There you go. He was a fisher. He was a fisherman. He stole their hearts.
Yeah.
And that's what you're saying we're missing right now. Somebody who would steal the heart of
Yes,
everybody, who would go all the way down to the cave, basically.
yes, but yeah, like and like, to be fair, right? Like I can't predict in that direction.
No, no, I know, I know, I know.
Like
I know.
that is literally um where I don't think there's a reliable way, because it's the unknown unknown. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like
The
the
black
unknown
swan.
unknown.
You need that's the black
The
swan.
black swan, yes.
Yeah, that's the
Like
black swan, right? Yeah.
so like I guess that's what you pray for then.
That's
Like
what
I
you
guess
pray
I
for.
know what I pray for now.
You know what? I'm gonna pray for a black swan as well today.
uh,
Suddenly,
yeah.
I feel so good about that.
So
Yeah,
yeah, that was a mysterious development.
yeah. It was indeed
of-
a mystery. Mystery really came and embodied itself here among us. Really, I honestly feel a bit of an aporia towards my relationship to life at the moment. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
yeah,
Wait,
did I smack you?
you always smack me, Emmanuel.
Okay, did I also extend the proper hand?
No, you did not. Just kidding. No. Sometimes you did, sometimes you didn't. Sometimes you just smacked. Sometimes you extended the proper hand. But at some point, I noticed the mystery, and I just opened my eyes to it. Now I
Do I
need
have
to.
the appropriate pattern of an abusive relationship?
No, you do not. You do not. You have the appropriate pattern of somebody who recognizes when they're right and likes to make sure the people they care about know that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I don't like people to be unnecessarily misguided, right?
Yeah, that's suffering in the end.
And
Yeah.
sometimes I just have to surrender to the fact that people are not going to go somewhere, and that's really painful.
Yeah, it sucks.
Especially if you have a relationship with them.
Yeah, I know that. I know that.
So yeah, like that's it like to go back to Christ, right? Like, and I think people underestimate this, right? Like the the feeling that he must have had while being misunderstood, right? Like, I'm here with you and you all don't get what I'm talking about. And I know you're going to betray me.
Mhm.
Well, like I can see when people whom people will what people will betray me. Like for me, I don't want to say like I'm at Christ's level, but like some things I'm like, yeah, like I can see that happen, right? Like if I'd focus on trying to understand the world that way, like I could figure out like who's going to betray me, and like
Uh,
the guy who said he's going to die for me, that he still wouldn't be willing to sacrifice himself.
mm,
Like yeah, I'd see that.
mhm.
Yeah. But yeah, like just if it just comes at you, right? Like if you're just there sitting at the table, like yeah, this guy's that. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, let's do what? You want to record Christ? Is this a promise that we're gonna make, or are we gonna
Recording Christ.
we're
Oh,
gonna
that's a
we're gonna
huge
record
promise.
Christ, but we might not release it. We are
All
gonna
right,
release
that's a deal. That's a deal. Yeah,
it. Okay.
that's a deal. Yeah,
So
sounds
yeah,
good to me.
like whoever managed to sit through this and listen to me rant, because holy cow, I ranted. I hope you enjoyed my rant. I thought it was quite impressive. I am impressed with myself.
Imposing presence.
I think I did a proper prophesizing at the start. Um,
The
and
end is
yeah,
near.
the end is
Just
nigh.
call this episode "The End Is Nigh."
I'm gonna stand on my soapbox.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
People, please redeem yourself.
Please
I'm
redeem yourself.
I'm Jonah. I'm Jonah. Like
Yeah,
I'll go to the city. Like okay, I'll know I won't go past go. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
um yeah. So yeah, like leave your comments. Like I really would like to know what you thought of this, and if you have maybe directions that the conversation should have gone, that we haven't covered. Because I thought it was really fruitful. I'm gonna forget most of it. I'm gonna be too lazy to watch it, but maybe I should. It's like, do you have any last words?
Well, I am in. I am thirsty for more, honestly. So I cannot give any last words. But what I would say is that I took away two very important things. Number one was that I was taking it to extremes with mystery. I was trying to adopt it as an absolute that you should always be in a state of mystery. I have no idea why I was doing that,
For
even
Vicky.
though no, 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 because even Plato would be against that. Because
Yeah, but
Plato
for
would tell.
Vicky wouldn't.
I don't know about Verheke. I'm not sure about, but I know for sure that Plato would be because it's Plato. It's about all about the up and down, up and down.
Hmm.
So that was the redeeming the mystery that gave me some nice vocabulary to play with. What else was there? Co-participation, the distinction of the masculine and the feminine. The feminine is receiving, and that you need to be masculine, otherwise you're just going to receive crap, or you're just going to die because you have to move, you have to impose. The the resonance we both had about the imposition of a framing and creativity, and how much that helps in constraining your possibility space so that you're not confronting combinatorial explosion.
Also, you need to provide that for the woman.
And you need to provide that for the woman. Like that's how you make the
And
proper.
that's if you want to be right, like what was the word that you say, right? Like you want to be in this relationship thing. That's the
Mhm.
relationship you need to have with the woman.
The proper affordances. You need to adopt the proper affordances between you and the woman, and that
Right.
means
and
Cultivating,
everything
cultivating the
else will, right, be added onto you.
everything else will be added onto you. Exactly.
Right, like that's the attitude, right? Like you
Yes,
follow
yes,
God, everything will be added onto you.
yes. Everything will be
Express.
added onto you. Exactly. Yeah, that's a good way to conclude it. Actually, there was one more thing. Yeah, and the resonance we both had on the idea of Christ representing the one many, that for me was very relieving, and that's, yeah, that's where I will end my comment right now.
Okay, well, thanks for watching and see you all next time.
See you all next time.